Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So lots of Keegan talk, lots and lots of Keegan Murray talk over the past few days, over the weekend. First, let's hear Monty McNair, who was sitting down with the broadcast crew yesterday and had this to say about his rookie.
It's been fun to see Keegan out here. We got to see a little bit. We got to see a little bit at the Cal Classic, and then the big shot to send it to overtime yesterday. And he just does all the big things, all the little things, and we're excited to see him finish up here and then get onto the regular season.
Ramie, when you're watching Keegan Murray here, he's played, what is it now, 5 games this summer, I believe, 3 at the Cali Classic and 2 so far at Vegas, I do believe, or 3 at Vegas. So, I don't know, 5 or 6 games he's played. What's your biggest takeaway?
He's very cool, man. He's very cool and calm and collected and just very – it doesn't seem like – and now it's the Summer League, all right? I'll put that disclaimer out there again, and we'll see what it's like when the stage is bigger and there's more than a few dozen people watching him in a small gym in Las Vegas. But just his coolness in the moment in that game on Saturday to take it to overtime where he gets the deflected pass and just as calm as could be, steps back, hits the 3, and like nothing happened, just turns around and runs up the court. And all right, let's start overtime. You know what? And don't get carried away with this comparison, but it's a little bit of Derrick Rose as somebody who grew up a Bulls fan. You know what I mean? Like, and some people underestimated him or underrated him when he was coming out of college because he's just not a guy who's gonna pump his own chest or scream or look for attention in any way other than to just play solid basketball. He's just a very understated, very cool, very calm, and it seems like mature dude for a guy who just came out in the NBA draft.
Derrick Rose is a new one. I've heard a lot of Tim Duncan over the weekend.
That's another guy
who
had a lot of that.
Yeah, talk about his temperament, and that's what it is, right? His temperament, calm, cool, and collected. And Keegan actually talked about that. He talked about his approach. He talked about his, you'd say, even lack of emotion on the floor. Here's what Keegan had to say.
Yeah, I know that I can affect the game in different ways. Today I felt like I didn't get as many rebounds, but I affected a lot of the rebounds. That was tip outs or anything like that. I feel like I affected it. It doesn't show up on the stats or anything like that. But for me, I just try to keep my composure. When the game's riled up, just stay composed, stay at my pace. And I know that good things will happen eventually.
Keep my composure, play the game at my pace. Not only did Keegan talk about it, but again, let's go back to Monty because Monty talked about Keegan's approach.
What do you make of his court disposition so far?
Yeah, it's
I love it. I love the fact that he's level, man. And for a rookie,
he is level, and I think you saw it on that shot. I mean, he was calm, pump fake, hit it, and he doesn't get too high or too low, and it's going to be a good. I think it's going to serve him very well.
Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports 1140. Of course, that's Monty with our guy Mark Jones. So that is definitely one takeaway. One of the takeaways that I had watching Keegan, especially over the weekend, and I think it goes hand in hand with what you're saying, Ramie. I don't have an issue with him being calm, cool, collected, even-keeled, however you want to describe his temperament on the floor. I just want to make sure that doesn't leak into his play. And at times, he's not as aggressive or as assertive as I want him to be. And it might be he's trying to feel out his teammates, and feel the game and all that stuff and learn the playbook. But you saw the difference yesterday. I absolutely loved the last 5 minutes of that game because Keegan was a different dude. He wasn't emotional. He wasn't pounding his chest, but he was, Seth Greenberg kept saying it, and it's the perfect word, he was more assertive. Mm-hmm. He was trying to take the basketball and tell people, no, this is my time. Whether it was, backdoor cuts or it was him trying to create a 3 attempt off the dribble, he was more assertive, and I thought he really put his foot down on that basketball game in the final 5 minutes.
Don't you think, though, that's kind of who he's going to have to be? Not the guy in the last 5 minutes. I think he realized at that moment, it's the Summer League, I'm the #1 draft pick, I'm probably the best player on this court for my team, so let me go ahead and do what I got to do. But when it becomes real, I mean, let's be real, he's the 3rd option at best most times down the court, is he not? So I think that sort of demeanor or him being willing to take that back seat and be a little bit unselfish, I think it suits the Kings well when you consider the fact that he's going to be playing alongside De'Aaron Fox and Domas Sabonis, who are going to be the 1 and 2 most times they come down the court.
I agree with that. I mean, I agree that his style will fit with the rest of the guys. I'm just, for the Summer League, as you just mentioned, he's the 4th pick overall. He's the best player on that team. I would just like to see him be a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more assertive, more often than he has been. Again, it's probably a nitpick for some people, but I just think he's much better when he's assertive. He's still good when he's not as assertive, but when he is trying to put his stamp on the game and he is making it a point to get involved offensively, I think he's better and I think the team is better. Here's another takeaway for me with Keegan. Not a very good shot creator right now. And we talked about this, Ramie, before the draft.
Yeah, we kind of knew this.
One of my comps was, Al Horford. But I think it really has shown itself early on. Like, not being able to create off the dribble consistently is one thing, but turning the basketball over as much as he has when he's trying to create, he needs to tighten up the handles, and he needs to make sure that, look, you don't have to be some unbelievable shot creator like your point goes to. Right now, it's not a necessity for the Kings, right? Because you've got Fox and you've got Domas, and fortunately, he can grow into that role. But right now, it's obvious if you want him, especially against a smaller, quicker, more athletic guy, if you want Keegan Murray to try to create with 5 seconds left on the shot clock, right now, it's not necessarily his strongest attribute.
And he said he models his game after Chris Middleton of the Bucks. That's something that Chris Middleton is very good at. Chris Middleton can create his own shot. So if he hopes to be Chris Middleton, that's definitely a big part of his game that he needs to work on. But again, and I know you're talking big picture here, and this guy reaching his maximum potential, hitting his ceiling, so to speak. I think what you're talking about, it kind of works for the Kings right now. Because, again, when this becomes real, right now he's the best player on the court for the Kings, or you would hope so.
Right.
So I think he's going to try to do more than he'll probably try to do, or at least be asked to do once this thing is for real in the regular season. I think it's okay that, at least right now, and as he grows into a bigger role, you would think, over the next few years, that maybe, obviously you want the guy's skill set to be as vast and as varied as it possibly can, right? But I think right now it's okay that he doesn't necessarily have that in his bag, because it's not something he's going to be asked to do all that much, except for those rare occasions where he's on the court and those two guys are taking a breather.
Right. I think, look, if you are studying the last 4, 5, 6 games with Keegan as an NBA player, you walk away feeling really good. You walk away feeling confident. You walk away like, as we had expected before the draft, he's somebody who can plop in and he's going to be able to score. He's going to be able to play at this level right away. He's going to fit with those other guys. And your point, Ramie, again, yes, 5 seconds left. You're not giving the basketball to Keegan on most of those possessions. Right. You're giving it to Foxy, and you're going to let Foxy do what he's got to do. So, or even Kevin Huerter, or maybe a Malik Monk. Those are the guys that are going to have to be facing those kinds of shots.
You've watched a lot more Summer League than I have, because
probably too much.
You have a whatchamacallit?
DVR?
Yeah, you have a TV.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So that helps. Is he the MVP of the Summer League right now? Because he seems to be the talk of the Summer League, at least of the rookies, and some of this is because of injury, and we're going to talk about that maybe a little later in the show with a couple of guys going down. But over 20 points, 7 rebounds. He's shooting almost 50% from the field, 44% from the three-point line. Like, is he, from what you've seen, the MVP of the Summer League so far? And again, it is just the Summer League.
I'll answer that question also. I want to get to this. Are the Kings on the cusp of another big offseason move? We got that, all the latest coming up in about 90 seconds.